Okay, I am taking some of my own advice and just sort of slowing things down just a little bit. Who's you? Me? You wonder who I am? Oh, don't be silly. I know you know who I am. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Kind of not looking like in my hairdo right now. So I might go into the bathroom and then actually put some lipstick on too. Or maybe I'll just do this. I don't think that helped. Dr. Annette Feravich, it's July 31st and we are here on day 227 and we have a bunch of people out there trying to mimic what I'm doing. You cannot mimic what I am doing. And the reason why is because of my spirit. You could if you had my spirit, but if you're trying to mimic what I'm doing, you clearly don't. I wouldn't mimic somebody else for Pete's sake, just because she had all kinds of people following her, wishing her well and goodwill as a teacher and a mother and a woman and an activist and a spiritual leader. And I added one more on last hour, but that was a little bit of a rant. I did take it down and put it on unlisted, and then I put it back up. I'm like, you know what? You already know what they've accused me of. So there's some of my questions out there now to those same people. You already know what those militaristic sheeple people, and oh, by the way, military, by the way, wake up. You make the best sheeple. Ask a scientist. It's why you're there. It's why you're there. It's instinctual for you to commandeer to authority and smush those beneath you. And what we're talking about today is that psychology right there. I mean, not specific to that, but I probably will delve into all the different psychologies that are going on here right now that have to do with a real effort to quash, a legal term, to quash what is guaranteed in our Constitution. And by the way, it's in our Constitution because they said it was guaranteed by God. Who were they talking about when they said that? Scientologists? Who were they talking about when they said that? Did I mention it's day 227, July 31st, and we are here in the classroom? I did say my name, Dr. Annette Feravich. You know, just really the unbelievable depths of some of this inhumanity, it does not even register until you see it on the minds of people like me. It doesn't even register. Oh, you're not a hypocrite? Then go and smoke your joint right down there in Whore Lane. Oh, that's what you're looking for from a woman and a teacher and an activist for children and the vulnerable. That's what you're looking for. It just takes all kinds. It just takes all kinds. And so let's take a look at what we're talking about, because this really is the psychology of what is going on. So, you know, there are people like me who try and understand the psychological perspective, and we also assume that everybody going into psychology wants to understand the psychological perspective that can help other people, right? Deal with their trauma, deal with the way that people are manipulative and evil in this society, and how we see that it's allowed to go on and on and on. I mean, those are the facts. Those are the facts. So I am here to shed light on the psychology behind people who take that and turn it for another purpose. And as I go and look into history, or as I go and look into history and social traumas that occurred along history, this is when I then really start seeing and delving into what I see to be the psychology. Remember, this started here. Our topic right now for the philosophical classroom started with Rice's book and me recognizing, I keep wanting to put my hands on the book, and it's, up there somewhere. And I also have it, of course, downloaded, and it's there. So the start of reading this book, and oh shoot, I lost that main point. Darn it. Oh, got it back. I knew I would get it. And seeing the tenement buildings and recognizing those tenement buildings in psychological papers, those same structures. So it became unethical to report what they found. And this is no different than Milgram's experiment, except for they didn't accept Milgram's experiment. For example, the same thing with, what's his evil face? Stanford prison experiment guy, right? They didn't accept those articles, the reports that they wrote on the science in the scientific journals. Why? Because they were unethical. So here you had all these scientists who were clearly atheists, who were clearly eugenicists. All of this is in the favor of science and intellect, as if that has brought about the rewards promised by the Holy Spirit. And to not be able to get this as a scientist, to not comprehend when your own scientific theory is failing, that is truly demonstrating feeble-mindedness. Boy, the guy upgraded in trucks, I see. He's coming over here to fix the toilet. And so I'm going to have to just put it on hold for just a minute. Hi, are you here for me?
Yes.
Okay, how are you? You know what? You can come in. I'll get her, and she'll be fine. You stop. You can open the door.
Okay.
This door here. Yeah.
All right.
And then I'll tell you, let me put her away for you. You quiet. Well, as luck would have it, it seems like it's working. I will tell you what the problem is. I know, exactly. I will tell you what the problem is, or was, and then you could see, what there, why it might have been that way. All right, no, it's still not working. All right, here's the problem. And so just yesterday before you came here, so there's the problem. It is water in there, but it takes forever. And so, if you have to,
No problem.
I can do this. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so all right, I'll let you go. I'll be out here. If you need me, I will be out here. It's, I'm doing a podcast. I just, so just letting you know. Okay. Lucy, shh, you can sit with me. Hold on. Hey, you. Yeah. Good job. Yeah, stop. In your basket now. In your basket. Stop. In your basket. Come here. Get over here right now. Lucy. All right. right now. Right now. You sit. Get in your basket. Get in your basket. In your basket, I said. Right now. Nope. You go that way in your basket. March. Exactly. Come here. Now you go sit on that bed. And you quiet. You sit there. No. Yeah, it's not enough. There's a crazy dog and a toilet problem. Not enough. Lucy, stop. I told you to sit down in your basket and you did not. That's how you take control of a dog.
I just gotta run out.
No, you're fine. You do whatever you need to do.
I'll be right back.
It's no big deal. This is pretty informal, as you can see. Lucy, stop. Okay, so where I was these psychological. It's going to be a little crazy for a little while, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. She's calming down. They're solving a problem. And I don't want to start this over because then I have to deal with her in the toilet, and I'd rather be right here. So there we go. Because she'll be barking, so I still have to deal with her, right? Lucy, sit. Okay, so as I said, I noticed those tenements. So here's what I see as going on. I see that we are making, it's no big deal. You could just come right in. It's not a big deal. It really is informal. Scientific studies out of what we have seen going on with human beings. So we get all these people in tenements. It's occurring not only in New York City, but occurring also in San Francisco, I believe in New Orleans, and there may be one other place that that when you find out, you see that they are literally studying these tenements, that they are, but again, with different cultures. So we have a Mulligan stew culture there in New York City. I know where it was. Because of what they were doing with Chinese and what they were doing with the Chinese immigrants, basically, I don't know what to do with them. Some of these immigrants are legal according to our paperwork. Lucy, stop! And so they could be studying certain groups of these tenements in their specific cultures. So same environmental effects, which of course is what the scientists are interested in. Environmental effects that they can use to target whatever group they're interested in targeting, right? Right now, I'm sorry, is that Target on my back? Does Target get some funding every single time I say Target? I don't know. I don't mind saying it, Target. That's all I'm saying. Till this Target is off my back, I don't mind saying it. Okay, so if you take a look at historically the timeline, then what would be going on is scientific experiments done on people. I'm able to justify it in my heart and in my mind because to me, they are not people. And oh, by the way, instead of going and getting them and enslaving them, what we'll do is we'll bait them. We'll bait them with some lie and get them to come here for our scientific experiment. And we don't mind doing it, by the way, because we look at them as not being real people. And who would they be who are not real people? Well, very specifically, they are liberal thinkers. And so what I said in our early birds class is that's based on fear. There is no other reason why, in particular, somebody who is a religious fanatic in any way, right? And I could be considered a religious fanatic. So don't let that get around.
Done.
Oh, is all done?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You have a good day.
Yeah, you too. All right, all of a sudden I got something up here too. Okay, all right, so especially for these religious fanatics who begin to think, you don't think like me, right? And then have all these boundaries in their religion. Well, then then they do experience a great amount of fear. Now I can let Lucy out, and she's going to be a little tyrant. She's going to be a little, what do you call those? That one from that land of Tasmanian devil. That's what she's going to be, a little Tasmanian devil for a second. All right, good girl. Oh, you were it. No, you sit down. Sit down. In your basket. You want to go back in the bedroom? I didn't think so. What's this on your toes? What did you do? No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Not that Lucy, come here. It's okay. Enough. All right, hold on just a minute. Let me, I should be giving you some music. I sure should. And I sure should, at the very least, let you see Lucy for a second. Give you a be right back. And get you some music. I'm only going to do it easy. Okay, he's done in the bathroom. And I think we're all set here. Doesn't smell so great though. But okay, so looks like problem solved. Happy about that. Should have checked the other toilet too, but I didn't. I don't use that one very much. So, okay. Cool Doonies all set. Let's go and look at what I have here. All right. And what I am going to do quickly is I'm just thinking about how those people have been tricking me for how long, and the people who they are who have been tricking me, and I just find it to be so unbelievably unacceptable. The people. I mean, it is stomach turning. It is stomach turning. I mean, if it is my nephew, I mean, I get if there's a lot of perversion in my family, you would figure why not perversion with me? But you know what? Stop being such a dog with the bone and calling somebody else a monkey when you're the animal. Stop acting like a savage, and then let me look at your what? Your home, that where you actually live is wherever, who even knows, but that's a show condo? Is that what you got going on? It's just highly despicable. Okay, so, and no different than what we're talking about here. Highly despicable. That's why I was so upset. All of these broken contracts over here, right? With a bunch of scat freaks running around. And I mean it. Literally. Literally. What are they? It's like we've got everything for everybody over there. Doesn't matter what your perversion is. You like garbage? You want to pick through garbage? There it is in the tenements. You want to worry about plumbing because you're a scat freak? There it is in the tenements. But we have laws now. We have laws. This is the guise that it is the United States of America, and we have health laws, for example. And so you can't get away with saying we're scientists or we're military, and this is in the interest of the United States when you're acting like domestic terrorists. You say you're acting in the interest of the United States. We have to weed out people. Who do they weed out first? Or maybe not first, maybe not their own, as long as they stand in line. But those experts are much smarter than their own. Those experts that don't deny the truth are much smarter than their own, because it is smart to take a path with moral fiber. That's just smart. Oh, geez. Hope I didn't leave my underwear in the bathroom. Not because he would have seen them, but because, there's just so many criminals around here, and they've been begging for some of those. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that anyone, here. Not at all. Okay. It's upsetting. It's very upsetting, because if they are doing this to me, why wouldn't they have done this to my kids? And that is reprehensible. That's just reprehensible. Okay, so I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that every single scientific experiment has the possibility of being manipulated in a way that was unethical prior to the actual data that they are presenting as a scientist. Okay? It's so upsetting to me. It gets to be so upsetting to me and distracting when I see it happening in front of my face. I'm not saying, just a moment ago, I'm just saying with, the fact that I have a maintenance issue and the very first thing that they do is give me a violation. Instead of coming, has to be called at least twice on a maintenance issue. That's a health issue as well. Then my son's wife doesn't even know that he still hasn't given me my money. It's just an amazing, crazy extent of manipulation that I can't even really fathom that person would get any enjoyment out of. That you're having any enjoyment at all. And I'm not saying that I'm not bothered or stressed by some of this stuff. Clearly I am, but I'm more stressed about it on a global level. If you're able to do this to a teacher because she's an activist, even though inside and out she's a beautiful woman, with no regard for her family or children, you can do this to anybody. If you can say it's not human because, you can do that to anybody. I mean, really, this is a coloring study, no big deal. God knows how they actually did this study. They probably did it on the playground. Don't choose these people, choose those people. Then see what happens. Blue-eyed, brown eyes kind of study. You know what I'm saying? Which always it was the blue eyes in that study, which was the most, it was to call that person to call herself a scientist. She was the biggest fraud I had ever seen. And I knew that as a teenager. Every single time you call it a scientific experiment, these kids have tears welling up in their eyes, and you do it again. Somebody needs to be chopped. I don't mean in little pieces. I mean from their position. Just in case somebody decides to, you know what? Like the show Chopped. Yeah, chopped. Really chopped. Really cut off at the knees for what they're doing and then reward them in kind. That's how they get to live now. They get the rewards. They get to reap the rewards of their behaviors. So this is the study with the crayons, which we talked about. So we can see here, if we look at it, and you can read it from a scientific perspective, analysis, what you have here is you've got two outcomes of interest. We call those the dependent variable. They're written on the sides, right? They're turned on the sides. Those are the dependent variables. They are the measures that we're interested in. And the measures we're interested in is to see if there was a change in the quality of the drawings and in the amount of time, right? The quality of the drawings, not so much. This here is an innate talent, isn't it? So there's some differences there, but not so much. What they did in the numbers here, which are very interesting, is I don't know to what extent they took an average. I'm not actually sure, or added these measures up, or somehow, yeah, gave up more of a product of it, or a sum of it. Probably not a literal sum, but some kind of product of it, right? So that but probably not. I don't know if it's a clear average. And the only reason why I say that is because the numbers are astronomical there. If you take a look at these numbers right there in the corner, they really are pretty astronomical. Let me escape this and blow it up here for you, and then look at it this way. So see those numbers there? So there is not much of a difference between an unexpected reward, and I don't know why there would be much of a difference. Well, after the experiment, they got an unexpected reward. Then they're like, oh, I might get a reward. They spent more time, so they did act out of a reward motivator. But when they expected the reward and didn't get the reward, right? Expected reward and didn't get it, then they tested their coloring. They're like, screw that, I'm not coloring anymore. I'm not getting a reward. If they got no reward and didn't expect a reward, that also meant they were coloring because of their own unique instinct, right? They were coloring because of something that they desired in their own hearts and not for another reason. So looking here, we are looking really at the percentages. This N means the number of people that they studied. Not very large, but that's okay. We don't need to have a whole cattle call for scientists, which is what they're looking for. Let me have a few numbers from a variety of people that or less variety, that as long as I know I'm studying a less variety. I don't need to have a cattle call for every single scientific experiment and then continuously be deceiving the participants in science so that they have no faith in scientists, or except for when they call themselves God and act like they know better, so they have to write this stupid narrative. But you're looking at twice the number, twice the percentage. That's extraordinary. Doubling the percentage of individuals who are, in this case, choosing more time. That's what they did. All right, so they just looked at the time treatment. All right? Choosing more time. It had nothing to do with the reward here. Now, again, if you are willing to, as a scientist, create tenements and study human beings in atrocious conditions in the name of intelligence and science, and oh yeah, eugenics as well, did I get to mention eugenics? Then you are pretty willing to do almost anything, right? So this looks like it is a pretty straightforward study. But let's just look at the fact that they're studying children. Let's explain this a little bit. Once again, how many of them were in the 5 points? I'm just saying. And trying to cover up my tooth a little bit. Before I have criminals working on these teeth like they're Fred Flintstone and these are little pellets of stone. And he's trying to get the 10 Commandments written in my mind and using my teeth to do it, if you know what I mean. Okay, so that is why, without knowing the scientific experiment or without knowing the scientific methods behind actually gathering this information, all of a sudden we have a plethora of scientific studies in the 60s. When we started the civil rights movement, all of a sudden we started publishing scientific papers. You can't do this unless you're a scientist. You can't do this unless you're a scientist. Yeah, nobody could have done it. Who would have believed it? Who would have believed you thought to do it? Oops. Let's get to our slideshow. We're a little cash today in the classroom. I don't know what time it is. 12 o'clock? Huh. Yeah, we're a little cash over here today. And that's a great way also, philosophical classroom, to help. I mean, if I were teaching, I would be able to get rid, in the classroom, in a real classroom, I would be able to get rid of those emotions and get focused on, only the material. Of course, that's what I'm getting paid to do in the classroom. But guess what? I'm not at Oakland University any longer, and I don't have stalkers. Well, I still have, because I have had stalkers around me. Literal human trafficking stalkers. Like, can I take your picture as a real stalker and then put it on, I don't know, the archaic stone, chisel it in stone so we all can recognize you and realize how archaic your thinking is? Something like that? I don't know. This is called the over-justification effect. It really, over-pronunciation of long words. That's what we need to call in psychologists, right? Over-pronunciation of long words. The over-justification effect, how many syllables do we need? Over the limit syllabic words. All words are syllabic. Our desire to do something decreases after we are rewarded for doing the task. That is, we are no longer care as much to do a task if we weren't rewarded for it. Now, is that stupid or what? Is all of your intuitive antenna going up saying, I think these scientists got something wrong, starting with the long-ass name that nobody would ever remember anyway? Are all your intuitive antenna going up like, this sounds like it's bullshit? Ding, 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 ding. It is. It is just a narrative where, and this is what scientists do in their whoring themselves for scientific notoriety. What they do is they take this data that they got from the tenements and they hone in on something that would be ethically approved, right? That they saw some kids doing in order to advance their political agenda and propaganda and media propaganda, right? So it's an exclusive club, the journal articles, those who get published exclusively by nearly all white males, right? Except for the few females that are in there that they trashed, that they, like Susan Fisk and In a Different Voice, the woman who wrote In a Different Voice about gender differences, annihilated those women, just annihilated them. And their premise always is they're unscientific. Just like the premise of eugenics is, if you don't speak my language, you a savage. Okay. Now, I've talked about this before. I don't understand why I've got this like that. So, okay, we're just going to do it this way. And the two over here all the way to your right are the two links to the video, which don't help you a lot, but I can't open up, but you can, other than the names are on top of the video. So there you can see the surprising truth about what motivates us, and I can't see the other one, all right? And I could see, I am gonna get my watch. Oh, you stole my eyeglass? No. Take it easy, Feravich. And the other one is learning video, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. All right, so those are the two names of the videos if you're interested in looking those videos up. I'm interested in seeing what that looked like. I probably won't get to it. It'll probably be a while. Yeah, it will be. It's going to be a while. I'm not caught up. I'm over there with Lucy in my camera. Okay, so those are the two videos, full videos. I know this one, I'll get a copyright if I show it, so I can't show that one. That's the most interesting one. This other one gives you a real good oversight of the language, the scientific language, but it's, of course. Anyway, I mean, she does a good job. She does a really good job there. Okay, so the other three things there are there for your perusal to take a look at. The main points about this theory, the psychological theory, that we intuitively say it doesn't feel right. When we're rewarded for something, we do less work. That sounds like that came out of the feeble-minded scientists in the tenements. So here they're showing basically the same thing. I'm going to give you the main points here because it seems like from the over-justification effect, something's not right. All right, so we go to look at this video, which is a good video for an explanation of that, and see what further studies have been done to try and get at what is the real variable, what is the real motivating process that changes people's motivation. What is that really going on that changes their desire to do more coloring, right? Okay, so this number one right here, which I really did have. So this one here is, it's all right, it's bothering me. That was there we go. Made it a little bigger. So those are the two videos there, although it doesn't need to be any bigger. All right. So those are the two videos there. This is the first point, which is making the same point as the over-justification effect. So if you are rewarded, what ends up happening is that the behavior then diminishes. Rewards go up, desired behavior goes down. Makes no sense at all, right? It is completely the opposite of what social psychologists have been saying and behaviorists have been saying since the 1930s. If you give a child a cookie as a reward, you will continue that behavior, which is, I'll eat the cookie. So you've got one very weak theory here clashing with a very, very strong theory. Why would that be the case? It is the case for political self-interest, for scientific self-interest. How is it that we know rewards and punishments equal, and all of a sudden they're questioning that science? Now, is what they found true? Yes, it's what they found true. But again, what do the scientists of the tenements do? They go and they find their population from the tenements. Now they've created a worldwide tenement situation, and the scientists do this. Target. Who do I want to study for this? I want this outcome. Go there for that data. Who do I want to study for this? This is the outcome I want. Go there for that data. Don't think they're not doing it. Don't think with all this data that they're not using it to prove their scientific theories. They clearly are. Now, the fact that they're so feeble-minded that they're trying to prove scientific theories that say poison is better for you, pharmaceutical companies are that stupid. Johnson & Johnson, right there. You idiots. Okay. Here, what we have is it's just that, I'm best at this. There's so many things going on, and I'm not a detective. The one thing, I guess I was calling myself, yes, that was the other thing I called myself in early birds, an investigator. I am an investigator. I'm definitely an investigator as in a researcher, but I certainly don't want to put myself in the class of these scientists by any stretch of the imagination. Right? And I don't think that I do at all, because first of all, I can see the faults in your science and you still continue to truck on because you're alcoholics. Okay, so what this slide here is saying that for the most, so let's get to the specifics. When does this occur? Bandura knew that this occurred in the most rudimentary tasks. If we wanted to train a bird or a mouse, we give them the piece of cheese. And that will translate to individuals who have a lower intellect. And this is where they get their prize fighters from. Who are the people that we can put a carrot in front of and reward and give them simple rewards, and they will continue to pursue like a pig, right? Like a pig, burrowing in until they find what they smell. And interestingly enough, that's the same kind of nombre that police officers were given as well. So, again, for the most rudimentary tasks, for the most rudimentary animals, whether or not those are human being animals or whether or not those are your four-legged creature animals, they are spurred on by a carrot and stick. So, Michael and Greg, you are spurred on by the carrot and stick. It seems to me. You burrow on like pigs. That's all you've got a sense of what is going on. That is your sense of what is going on. That's it. Put a stick in front of me and I'll go after it like a dog on a bone. But for cognitive tasks, and this is the idea where it just gets slanted. It's like, all right, stop right there. Don't reward these people. Keep making them work for it. So keep their rewards just below the bar. Exactly what they're doing. Interpretation for political self-interest alone. Because they want you, military soldiers, right there with the carrot and the stick. Carrot in the stick, just like a dog on a bone. That's exactly where they want you. And that's exactly where you're at. Exactly where they want you. They don't want you here thinking. They don't want you to have freedom of thought. They want you to be afraid of freedom of thought. That's the reason why they targeted liberals, because they are free thinkers. They'll question you. They'll question your motives. They'll question your theory. And it's not to create chaos. It's to get to truth. It's that simple. It's not to create chaos. It is to get to truth. And it is that simple. When you are manipulating and maneuvering in ways that are maligning me, it is simply because you do not want to get to the core of truth. That's exactly what it is. That is the only thing that this classroom has ever been about. getting to the core of truth about how we treat and should treat human beings. Every single thing I do has pointed to my classroom thesis. And anyone who is against me is against this humanitarian movement. Anyone who leaves dirty shit in my toilet for 2 days is against any kind of humanitarian movement. Anyone who continuously calls me a monkey and then drugs me to get me to act like your monkey is not on the side of any kind of humanitarian movement, and they call themselves scientists. It is in the interest of intellect, not in the interest of people. So don't forget, the reason why I got, and I told my sister this a long time ago, I will unveil your hypocrisies. Don't think I won't. It is in my DNA. To speak your language, it is written in my DNA. Okay, let's keep going. So, what are then the 3 factors then that lead to this? It is what the eugenicists are trying to and have always been trying to stamp out right there. The cognitive free thinker. Those are where that's where the creativity comes from. Though that's where progress in technology, progress in humanity, progress in conservation of resources comes from. It comes from the liberal thinker. You could call them the artist. And that's, in my day, what they were trying to shut down. The artist of the 60s, because they were just drug addicts. Well, guess what? We've got a bunch of fascist conservatives that are worse because they're alcoholics. Go to an AA meeting, get your fucking ass in gear, for Christ's sake. Honest to God, this is what you're stopping right there. Thinking, cognitive thinking, by perverting a theory that you perverted from the tenements? Don't think I don't fucking know, because I do. Because I do. And you call yourself scientists and you raise your level to the height of your alcoholism. Moving on. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. That's what motivates us. Not taking away our rewards. Don't be so fucking thick. Don't be so obtuse, scientists. How could you be so obtuse? I'm sorry, what was that? Alcoholism? Is that what it is? Chronic alcoholism, where you bathe your faulty ideas in alcohol and they come out singing like birds? Is that what this is about? Your ideas are taking a bird bath in alcohol and they come out singing? You alcoholic stump. Yeah, I will. Think I won't fucking brag about my lack of alcohol in my system and your drugs and your heroin trying to get me addicted? Is that my superpower? That, and I can forget your motherfucking useless ass? Is that my superpower? Is it to motivate you, to get you to do your simple job, like emptying out those garbage cans because they're a health hazard? Like unwrapping our seeds with unwrapping them of their poison? Can't figure it out? Have another drink. Can't figure it out? Have another drink. You common ass. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I'm calling like it is. Don't think you're so GD special with all your scientific Dr. MD bullshit. We've spotted that a mile away. You're liars and you're frauds. And by the way, you're uneducated. Because this stuff, seriously, a woman figured it out? A Mexican? What? Huh? What? They're at the bar? What? Cool. Dr. Annette Feravich, thanks for joining me. I will be here in probably, I don't know, half an hour probably. And back with possibly, because I really do have to get this back to the Plymouth Library. I just loved it so much. And I have to confess that I highlighted it in the book. You think it's funny, don't you? Walking out in public. Oh, you're not a hypocrite? No, I'm not a hypocrite. Not everybody has to know what I do in the privacy of my own home. You ass. Does that have to be explained to you too? That a person doesn't have to be a hypocrite in order for them to not have all their private business out there? Does that escape you? Does that escape you, Greg Rothermel? Does that escape you, Michael? Because it seems like common sense stuff that I can ask AI seems to escape you. Dr. Annette Feravich, we have been talking about what motivates you on the inside. Thoughts, right? Progress, art. Not what motivates you on the outside. Material things, the will. All I know is you've been crying about it for 5 years and you're like a dog on a bone. That's all I know. You want to expand? Of course you don't. Because you're feeding me my dollar rewards like Dollar Tree does. All right, Dr. Annette Feravich, thanks for joining me. In the classroom, where we, like I said, I'll be back to read the book, and we have just completed Philosophical Classroom, day 227. It is July 31st, last day of July. It's a cool day. What's going on here? Seems to me like somebody was controlling the weather who no longer has control, because who would want to give a bunch of military sheeple people? Oh, they did say. That's right where you are. Right there. Carrot and stick. Military, that's right where you are. Give that fucking dog a bone. All right, we'll stop our cussing for a little while. Thanks so much for joining me here in the classroom. I hope you're back here for the final chapter and maybe the epilogue, probably the epilogue of our book, A Dangerous Idea by Debbie Levy, or Levi.